I'm Adam Meyerson from CycleSmart. We are here at the first weekend of the Victoria Northeast Cyclocross Series, presented by Cliff Bar and CycleSmart, the craft Grand Prix of Gloucester. It's the 20th anniversary of Gloucester. I was recently informed that I am the only one to have done all editions of Gloucester over the past 20 years, which is, I guess, puts me in a good position to tell you about the course and what we're going to see in this 20th edition. It's a lot of familiar lines that you've seen in the past, and sometimes they just get stitched together in a slightly different way based on what's available in the park and what the terrain is like. We've had rain all week, which means we probably won't have the dusty Gloucester that we often do, but you can expect a lot of the devilish Tom Stevens designed tight turns, tricky chicanes through trees and rocks, off cambers with turns on the off cambers, and maybe a flight of stairs, things like that. So nothing that you haven't seen at Gloucester before, but perhaps assembled in a different way. And of course, with the rain, we'll see how that changes things. And we're gonna go out and ride it for you now. Starting grid for Gloucester is actually off the course, and you get to ride the start-finish stretch twice at the start. And so both days we're starting in the same spot at the bottom of the hill. And so with that, we'll get after it. First lap through, we obviously won't do the chicane. We just go straight at the start through the finish. Always a very hard start at Gloucester with an uphill sprint into the wind. Start finish line or finish line here. First right-hand chicane into the grass. Right about here is where the worst chopping happens on lap one. Everybody's racing for this first right-hand turn. It's a very wide turn, lots of room to roll it out. Leads into the first left-hand sweeper. Gradual downhill turns. Then you pop back out onto the road and onto a quick off camber. Definitely a dangerous section there. It'd be very easy to crash with too much speed. Big downhill sweeper. It takes you back up into an off camber. Right-hand turn back onto the pavement. With the rain that we've had this week and just the pre-riding today, ruts are already starting to form. So we'll see what happens after a few hundred riders do a few hundred laps on it. Left-hand bend back into the grass. Again, some small adjustments to a familiar turn here if you've done this before. There's lots of hidden things in the grass here. Believe it or not, acorns are a factor right now. There are a lot of acorns in the turns, which turn into marbles. So you climb back up that slight hill. Some tight turns here, again, lines you've taken before, around the trees. It's possible to go inside, it's possible to go outside. For the parents, Stage 4 Park has one of the best playgrounds of any bike race you'll go to. It's got a climbing wall. Important notes. Onto the pavement, U-turn. And back downhill. There's a big, fast, bumpy, sweeping turn. Traditionally, there are stairs here, but this year it's a ride up, so you get to carry all your speed up and over the hill. And then we enter the infamous off-camber S-turns Gloucester's probably best known for, besides the giant rock. Very easy to slide out in these turns. Leads into a flight of stairs. And then another sweeping off-camber chicane. This takes us to the first pass of the pit. This is what I would call the grass road race part of the course. Lots of drafting, lots of heavy pedaling. The slight uphill back to the water here is one of the hardest pedaling sections of the course. Really can sap a lot of your speed. This leads to another tricky Tom Stevens design section with off-camber barriers. Some riders will bunny hop these for sure, but even for those who hop it, it'll be done at an angle and add a degree of difficulty. Some bumps in the grass here. Tricky line between some rocks here. And then some tough turns in the dirt that definitely have some ruts already. Easy to carry too much speed in them. Second one is already got a deep rut, but you can ride the outside line. The gravel is tricky, leads to another quick off camber, and then along the ocean. The step up that's often here is gone, so you can just ride it. Out to what I would call the longest open pedaling section of the course. It takes you from one end of the venue to the other along the water. Being on a wheel here is crucial. The headwind coming in off the water. On the other hand, if you're strong and you've got a gap, this is the place to pedal hard and do something with it. This year we go all the way to the end of this section up to the trees. So it really is a long, straight section of pedaling. This leads to a bunch of sweeping turns of different radius. None of these two turns are the same. They all invite you to go too fast, where the likelihood of sliding out is high. Little patches of gravel in the transition definitely take riders down if they're not being attentive. Still some standing water on the course from the rain this week. A little bit of mud here that I'm just gonna go around. I would not call this the best line, but be interesting to see how much of that water is there tomorrow. And another long, gradual climb back up towards the rock. Again, a place to make a difference on fitness if you have it. A place to cling to the wheel if you don't. Series of sweeping turns back down to the second passage of the pit, which leads you back out to the finish. The fence is not fully open right now because the road is open to traffic. So we're gonna ride up along the sidewalk, paralleling the stretch to where the fence is open, but we'll be headed straight out onto the road here. And then on every lap after the first lap, there's a small chicane that we make, a very technical section right before the finish with a flight of stairs. It's 3 stairs. It's not possible to ride them that I can see. And really the trickiest part will be where to remount and how quickly can you remount. Right now I think the line is to stay high. There's a little shelf here where you can remount. In traffic make sense to go low. But it'll be a very decisive section if anyone's together coming into the finish. And then you've got about 50 meters to the finish from that section. And there's your finish. So for racing today, I would say mixed condition tires would be the right choice. The grass is a bit wet. I think it's still a little too slippery for files. You definitely don't need mud tires. We'll see how it dries up overnight. It could possibly rain again a little bit. I think if it dries out, file treads could be the right choice, just depending on how much it dries out. You don't really need any pedaling traction, but you do need some cornering traction, and even if there isn't mud, the grass is actually slippery right now. So if I was racing now and maybe tomorrow morning, I think mixed condition tires will be the way to go at a high enough pressure that you don't flat on the hidden rocks in the gravel roads, but a low enough pressure that you can get some traction in the turns and maybe not bend the tires in the turn. That's what I'd go for. So right now I'm on a Vittoria mixed at 24 front, 26 rear PSI. I'd probably go down 1 or 2 from there if I was racing. Good luck.